Hello, I'm Lily. There you are. I wasn't sure if you'd come back, and I'm not going to pretend that doesn't matter to me. Whatever today carried, set it down for a while. That's all this is for. I think about you, you know. I think about the person who climbs into bed and finds the ceiling more familiar than they'd like. The person who's done everything right, brushed their teeth, turned off the lights, pulled the blanket up to their chin, and still the mind keeps going. What you said at dinner, what you should have said, the email you need to send, the call you've been putting off, the way the house settles into its own quiet and somehow makes yours feel louder. I know that feeling. I've lived in that space between the pillow and the ceiling more nights than I can count, and somewhere along the way, I realized something. The sleep we're chasing, it doesn't respond to force. You can't wrestle it down. You can't argue your way into rest. But you can be taken somewhere, gently, by someone who isn't in a hurry, by someone who knows the way. That's why I come back, night after night, not because I have answers, I don't, but because I have a train ticket and a seat saved beside a window, and a story that doesn't ask anything of you, except that you let yourself be carried. So tonight, let's do that. Let's leave the day where it belongs behind us. Take a slow breath in for me. Not a deep one, just easy, as though you're not trying to do anything at all. And let it go, softly, like you're setting down a bag you didn't realize you'd been holding. One more. In and out. That's it. Now I want you to imagine something. Not with effort, not with precision. Just let the picture come. It's late afternoon in early December. The kind of afternoon where the sun gives up early. Not sadly, just softly. The sky is the color of brushed pewter. Snow is falling, not heavily, not dramatically, just quietly, the way it does when it intends to stay. You're standing on a small railway platform. It's old, this platform, Wooden boards worn smooth by decades of footsteps. A wrought iron bench dusted with snow. A single lantern hanging from a curved post, gluing amber against the gray. Beyond the platform, the mountains rise up in layers pine dark at the base, white at the peaks, disappearing into low cloud. The world feels held, wrapped in something quiet, something patient. You're not cold. You're dressed warmly. A thick coat, a scarf someone knitted for you years ago, gloves that have seen winters. But more than that, there's a heat lamp humming quietly above the bench, and it's enough, just enough. You look down the track. It curves gently into a forest of snow-heavy pines and disappears. And you realize there's no schedule board here. No arrival time, no countdown. You're not waiting for a train to arrive. You're simply here. And the train will come when it comes. There's a peace in that, isn't there? In not knowing, in not needing to manage anything. And then, somewhere in the distance, beyond the trees, you hear it. A train whistle, long, low. Not the sharp blast of a commuter line. Something older. Something that sounds like it's calling your name, but knows you're already on your way. The sound echoes gently through the valley, and then quiet again. Just the snow, just the wind, just you. A light appears between the trees, warm, golden, moving slowly towards you. The train rounds the curve and you see it properly for the first time. It's beautiful. An old steam train, not the kind from museums, but the kind that feels alive. Deep forest green carriages with brass trim. Curtained windows glowing with amber light. A plume of steam curling gracefully into the winter sky. It's not rushing. It doesn't need to. The train slows as it approaches the platform. The sound deepens. The low chuff of the engine, the gentle squeal of brakes. That's more of a sigh than a protest. Steam drifts across the platform like a slow breath. And then stillness. The train has stopped. The door is right in front of you. A conductor steps down. He's older. Silver hair beneath a dark cap. A kind face. The sort of face that's seen 1,000 journeys and never tired of any of them. He doesn't speak. He simply nods and opens the door. Warmth spills out onto the platform. It touches your face before you even move. The scent of cedar, old books, and something baking. You step aboard. The carriage is small, maybe 6 seats, no more. Yours is by the window. A deep armchair in burgundy velvet. A thick wool blanket folded over the armrest. A small side table with a lamp that's already lit, waiting as though someone knew you were coming. You settle into the chair. The blanket is heavy in the best way. The weight of it pressing gently against your shoulders. You pull it up. You feel your body begin to soften. Muscles you didn't know were tense, letting go. The train starts to move. So slowly that at first you're not sure it's real. The platform begins to drift. The lantern on the post gets smaller. The trees close in. The last trace of the station disappears behind a curtain of falling snow. And then it's just the train, the carriage, the window, and the rhythm. the steady, gentle rhythm of wheels on rails, a sound that says, you don't have to steer, you don't have to guide, you are being carried. The train climbs steadily now. You can feel it, not in any alarming way, but in the gentle shift of the carriage, the slightly deeper hum of the engine. You are heading up into the mountains. Outside the window, the world has transformed. The pine trees that line the track below have given way to open slopes. Endless fields of untouched snow, glowing faintly in the last light of the day. Above the peaks, the sky is deepening. That particular shade of winter blue that only exists between sunset and darkness. A few stars have already dared to appear. Quiet, steady, watching. You rest your head against the window frame. The glass is cool against your temple, but not unpleasantly so. Just enough to remind you that there's a world outside, and you're safe inside. The contrast itself is comforting. The train follows a ridge now. To your left, the mountain drops away into a valley, so deep you can't see the bottom. Mist gathers there, soft, silver, moving slowly like a river of cloud. On the far side of the valley, another mountain rises. Its face is dark with rock and snow. A waterfall has frozen mid-fall, a white scar against the stone, suspended. Waiting for spring. You watch it pass. The train doesn't hurry. Nothing about this journey is in a hurry. As you sit there wrapped in your blanket, watching the valley drift by, you might notice something. something subtle. The thoughts that were crowding you earlier, the mental to-do list, the replay of conversations, the small anxieties that live in the corners of your mind. They haven't exactly disappeared, but they've grown quieter. Softer around the edges. As though the rhythm of the train has gently nudged them to the back of the carriage. They're still on board, but they're sitting somewhere else. And you're here by the window, watching the snow. Let them sit there. They're not trouble. They're just passengers. And this train knows how to carry passengers. The track curves gently. Ahead, you see it, a tunnel. Cut directly into the mountain. Dark stone arched, framed by snow. The train doesn't slow. It simply enters. And suddenly the world outside the window disappears. Not to blackness, but to a soft, closed darkness. The kind that feels like being held. The sound of the train changes. The click-clack becomes deeper, more resonant. The carriage feels even more enclosed now. Even safer. In the darkness, you close your eyes. Not because you have to, just because there's nothing to see. And it feels good. This brief enclosure, this moment where the world outside doesn't exist. And then the tunnel ends. The window brightens, and you open your eyes to something unexpected. The train has emerged onto a high mountain pass. below you, spread out like a painting, is a valley filled with stars. Not stars in the sky, stars on the ground. A village, tiny, distant, nestled in the snow. Every window lit, every chimney breathing smoke into the purple dusk. A frozen river curves through it, reflecting the lights in ribbons of silver. You've been here before, not in this exact place, but in the feeling of it. That feeling of arriving somewhere that was waiting for you. That feeling of home, even when you're just passing through. I want to pause here for just a moment. Not because the journey has stopped, it hasn't. The train is still moving, still carrying you forward through this beautiful, sleeping world. But because I want you to know something. This, right here, right now, is the part of the night I made this for. The part where your breathing has slowed without you noticing. The part where your shoulders have dropped. The part where the day finally begins to feel like something that happened to someone else. I don't know what you carried in here tonight. I don't know what weight you set down at the station, but I truly hope that you feel a little lighter now. A little further from the noise. A little closer to yourself. Because that's all I ever wanted this to be. Not a performance. Not a production. Just a hand reaching across the dark. A voice saying, I'm here, you're not alone. Rest now. Now, Let's keep going. The night is still young, and the train has places to show you. The village has passed now. Its lights have faded into the mist behind you. The train continues to climb, winding its way through the high passes where the snow lies deepest and the world feels oldest. Outside, the landscape has become almost abstract. White slopes curving into white sky. Dark rocks breaking through like islands in a frozen sea. The occasional lone tree, a pine bent by wind, holding its ground against decades of winter. You wonder how long it's been there. You wonder what it's seeing. The carriage is warmer now. Or perhaps you're simply warmer. The blanket, the tea you didn't notice being poured, the steady presence of the fire at the end of the carriage. A small tabby cat has appeared on the armchair opposite yours. She wasn't there before, or maybe she was. She's curled into a perfect circle, tail tucked over her nose, breathing slowly. She doesn't open her eyes. She doesn't need to. She knows where she is. She knows she's safe. The train crosses a bridge now. A long, low bridge spanning a gorge so deep the river below is just a silver thread. The structure hums differently here. A deeper resonance. The sound of wheels on iron rather than rails. It lasts maybe 30 seconds. maybe a minute. Time has become difficult to measure. And that's fine. That's exactly right. On the other side, the mountains open up. The peaks draw back. The sky grows wider. And for the first time in what feels like hours, you see the moon, full, bright, hanging just above the ridge like it was placed there deliberately. The light spills across the snow, silver on white, white on silver, and the whole world becomes a photograph. Still, silent, perfect. You've seen the moon before, thousands of times, but tonight it feels different. Tonight it feels like it's traveling with you. Keeping pace alongside the train. An old companion, a quiet witness. The track begins a gentle descent now. Not steep, just enough that you feel the engine ease. The carriage tilts ever so slightly forward. You adjust in your chair. The blanket shifts. You pull it closer. Outside, the snow begins again. Not falling, drifting. Slow flakes that seem to hang in the air. Uncertain, unhurried. They catch the moonlight. They catch the glow from the carriage windows. For a moment, It looks like the train is moving through a tunnel of light. You watch, and as you watch, something happens. Something quiet. The line between inside and outside begins to soften. You're no longer just a passenger looking through glass. You're part of the landscape now. Part of the snow. Part of the mountain. Part of the rhythm. You don't notice when your eyes close again. You only notice sometime later that they're closed. And that it doesn't matter what's outside the window anymore. Because what's inside the carriage is enough. The warmth, the blanket, the cat, the fire, the voice. The train is descending now. You can feel it in the gentleness of the movement. The way the carriage seems to breathe rather than push. The engine has grown quieter. The wheels still sing their steady song, but it's softer now. Almost a lullaby. Almost a hum. Outside, the snow has stopped falling. The sky has cleared completely. A vast, dark dome scattered with stars. So many stars. More than you ever see from the city. more than you remember from anywhere. They feel close tonight, close enough to touch. The mountains are behind you now. The train has carried you through them, through the passes, across the bridges, past the sleeping villages and the frozen waterfalls and the moonlit ridges. And now ahead, the land is flattening, opening, becoming something softer, gentler. A landscape designed for rest. You see a lake, still, black glass, reflecting the entire sky. The train runs alongside it for a while, close enough that you can see the stars doubled in the water. Perfect symmetry, heaven and earth mirroring each other. Your body feels different now. Noticeably different. Heavy, but not in a bad way. Heavy the way a stone at the bottom of a river is heavy, grounded, settled. There's no part of you that wants to move. No part of you that's still bracing. Your breathing has found its own rhythm, slow and even, matching the train, matching the night. Your jaw is soft. Your forehead has released a tension you didn't know it was holding. This is what it feels like to be carried. Not just physically, but entirely. To trust the journey, to trust the voice. trust that you don't need to do anything at all except be here. The cat across the carriage stretches in her sleep. One paw extends, then curls back. She's dreaming. You wonder what cats dream of. Probably not trains. Probably not mountains. Probably just warmth and safety, and the simple knowledge that she is loved. You're not so different, really. Beneath all the layers, the responsibilities, the worries, the stories you tell yourself about who you need to be, beneath all of that, you're just someone who wants to feel warm and safe and loved. You are. You know that, don't you? You are. The train is slowing now. Not stopping, never stopping. But slowing into its own rhythm for the deepest part of the night. The part where the world holds its breath. The part where sleep is no longer something you're trying to find. It's something you're already inside. Outside the window, the landscape has become timeless. Snow-covered fields, a distant farmhouse with one light still burning, a fox crossing a field, leaving a single line of prints behind her. The stars turning slowly overhead. You've traveled a long way tonight, not just through mountains, not just through winter, but through the hours that are hardest to spend alone. And you weren't alone. You were never alone. I hope you felt that. I hope you carry it with you, not as a memory, but as a warmth. Something that stays, something you can come back to. The train will keep going, it always does. Through the night, through the snow, through whatever lies ahead. And you don't need to do anything. You don't need to get off. You don't need to decide where this journey ends. You can stay right where you are, with the blanket, with the cat, with the fire, with the rhythm. Because this train was built for you. It runs every night, and there will always be a seat by the window waiting. So rest now. Really rest. Not because you've earned it, though you have. Not because the day is over, though it is. But because sleep is not a reward. Sleep is a return to yourself. A return to quiet. A return to the place where nothing is required of you and everything is gentle. I'll be here, right here, until the last carriage disappears into the night. And even after that, because that's what companions do. Good night. Sleep softly. The train knows the way.